The Zone is the home of boxing, with over 150 live fights a year.
It's over! There's no way back from this, surely!
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
How do you like it? How do you like it?
That is unbelievable.
These guys will be legends in their own country, but also in the international basketball world forever.
That is what sport means. That is what the EuroLeague trophy means.
Are you not entertained?
I'm not supposed to be cheering, but this is X Series. I can do whatever I want.
Everything is difficult in this life, so still you need to be on it.
It all comes down to tonight. Don't miss the biggest night in MMA. PFL is more than a fight.
Catching up on any NFL game is easier than ever before.
Looking to the end zone for the win!
Oh my gosh, one of the great games you'll ever see.
The competition is back, and the UEFA Women's Champions League looks set to be bigger and better than ever before.
It's their time. A night to remember.
The following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new edition of Ariel and Ade right here on DAZN, of course, the global home of boxing. It's hard for me to start the show because I'm just kind of like vibing to our theme song. It's just so fresh. It's just so fun. It's just so bright outside. That means spring is about to sprung, as they say. Of course, I'm Ariel Helwani right here in beautiful New York City. My partner in crime, my co-host, my co-pilot, if you will, my chief support, my cut man. I don't know, my head trainer. What are all the puns that I could come up with? Yes, it's that man, Ade Oladipo, representing London town. The lighting is different. It's very, dare I say, sensual. It's romantic. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
It's all those things. It's like welcome in, everyone.
Yes.
Welcome in. Come in. Have a seat. Yeah. It's that. Do you not like it? Or
no. I actually love it. It's a combo of the bass in your voice, the lighting. It's very ladies' man-esque, you know?
Obviously, we do have that one female viewer who goes back and forth with you on Twitter sometimes, who loves this voice.
Oh,
so
my
it's
dear.
for her.
Wow.
It's for her. It's for her.
Pass the Courvoisier, Ade. You know what I'm saying? Ade, it's great to see you. How are you? All good?
I'm good, brother. How are you? How are you coping after Nottingham Forest got their asses spanked 5-0? You seem to have not tweeted anything about your Forest boys in a few days. All of a sudden, it makes me feel like you're just a glory hunter. So when they win, you're, okay, look, Nottingham Forest, my boys. When they lose, your radio is silent.
Okay, I
didn't get any messages. I didn't get any WhatsApps from you. Normally, I get a WhatsApp, like, look at the table. You take a screenshot of the table, you send it to me. I got nothing from you because you got spanked 5-0 by Bournemouth.
Okay, first of all,
it's funny how this plays out. It's funny. It's interesting.
I love the fact that you're coming out guns blazing. I love the fact that you're doing this. This is the type of energy that I love. Number one, As you said, how are you feeling? I thought you were about to kick me really below the belt because my beloved Buffalo Bills were just bounced from the playoffs in heartbreaking fashion. But you know nothing about the other football, so I'm happy you didn't go there. I'm happy you didn't go there. Although I do want to let you know that in many parts of the country, you can actually watch the Super Bowl on DAZN in 2 weeks' time, but we can talk about that next week. Yeah, Helwani in the house. I love that.
Wow.
Now, you are often very accurate, Ade, but I do have to say in this regard, in this instance, you are actually inaccurate because I did tweet about the Bournemouth game. I said over the tweet showing the 5-0 score that it was a Photoshop error, that there was no chance that they would lose to the Cherries. But as you would know, being the football man that you are, historically, we have had a tough time since being promoted to the Premier League against Bournemouth. And so, look, you know, even the greats stumble here and there. I am very proud of Forest. We've continued to have a tremendous season. We have locked up Chris Wood and Murillo. I don't need to go on and on about this because this is a boxing program, and I do find it rich. I was going to say off the bat, I'm jealous of you. I'm envious of you because you actually got to spend time in one of my favorite cities in the world this past weekend, a city which I've never actually been to, but I do love it and would love to be there one day. Nottingham. I would love to be in Nottingham one day, home to Robin Hood and Nottingham Forest and Dan Hardy and Paul Sumtick-Stady.
And Carl Froch.
Yes, and Carl Froch. And Lee Wood. How was it this past weekend? How was it? What was the vibe like? Dalton Smith? Did you get me any like souvenirs? Any nice little like bobblehead? Something?
It was a crazy night of boxing. Honestly, and it wasn't like Dalton Smith. He didn't steal the show. Although obviously, look, his fight ended in the very first round. I'm sure we're going to touch on it a bit later. Conor Walker. There was a fight, Conor Walker versus Harry Scarf, British and Commonwealth welterweight title fight. And I'm telling you now, Harry Scarf is winning that fight 10 rounds to zit going into the 11th round. And then Conor Walker lands the right hand from the gods. And we hear that phrase a lot. But this was genuinely a right hand from the god. And all of a sudden, he's British and Commonwealth champion. Like, it looked like it was going to be an easy night for Harry Scarf up until that point. So that really kind of lit the place up. And then obviously Dalton Smith came in, became European champion without even breaking sweat, without getting through second gear. It was so easy for him. So we're going to talk about him because obviously now it looks like he wants to take on the world's best. And I think that's what you do. British champion, English champion, European champion. Only one missing. There's only one missing.
Yes.
World champion.
I do want to say shout out to the team. I wasn't involved, of course, but watching and admiring from afar. I loved after the show, you, Tony Bellew, Sonny Edwards, Barry Jones, how you guys were kind of looking at that big screen, breaking down.
I like it.
That was fun. That was some nice production work. So shout out to the team down there.
I like that kind of stuff. I like that kind of stuff. All the, Ade, Reed, auto cue, all that kind of boring stuff. No. Get me on the big screen. Turn me around and let me kind of analyze it with 3 former world champions. And I think that's something we should do more. Obviously, look, I don't know how much that big screen costs, but it wasn't, it didn't look cheap. But I think we should do more of that because I think it's good. And then we kind of threw to the American cards. It was 11 hours of boxing. Crazy night, honestly, crazy night of boxing.
Not to mention BKFC on DAZN at the same time, which we will talk about as well. But no, that was a lot of fun. It obviously helps when the fight lasts 2 minutes. You can kind of go through the entire thing all over again live. But a great Saturday of boxing. More great stuff to come this weekend. And on today's program, Ade, we're double dipping. 2 guests on today's program, bit of a women's boxing feel, if you will. We've got current undisputed champion trying to become a 3-time undisputed champion. Clarissa Shields going to join us in a matter of moments. She's headlining a show in her native Flint, Michigan on Sunday right here on DAZN. And later in the program, we have the self-proclaimed future undisputed champion, Sky Nicolson, who will be joining us with perhaps some breaking news.
We love breaking news.
Some nuggets
We
to
are
share.
the breaking news show. So if she is breaking news, she's breaking news in the right space. It only makes sense to do it on the Ariel and Ade show. So hopefully we get something big. Because now we've said this, everyone's expecting something crazy. So hopefully it's something crazy.
Well, I don't know about crazy. I mean, I don't want to set the expectations too high, but good stuff, good news, and perhaps news that we've been sort of waiting on and talking about and seen in the rumor mill, if you will. I would be very remiss if I don't mention, and we're going to get into it a little deeper in the program, that this weekend is probably the biggest fight of the year so far, going to probably get usurped come February 22nd, but David Benavidez versus Dave Morrell this weekend on Saturday in Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. is the biggest fight of the 2025 calendar. I think we could all agree on that. Your level...
What, bigger than Beterbiev Bivol?
No. So far. So it's the first...
But is it... Do you think it's bigger?
I literally just said that's going to get usurped on February 22nd. Of course not. Are you not paying attention? You come out with the guns blazing.
The February 22nd card is bigger.
No.
I'm asking you, in terms of intrigue, if you had to watch one, they're both on screens right now. You had to only watch one. Which one are you watching?
You think I'm going to sit here and pick the non-DAZN fight? You really think that I'm going to sit here
just tested
the PBC on Amazon Prime fight? Are you crazy? Are you crazy?
Good.
What about you?
Huh?
You actually, wow.
What?
Face of DAZN, presenter of the year, SJSW award winner, Benavidez Morel.
I didn't say that. I really like the fight. That's all I'm saying. I think it's a great fight. I think it could be the most intriguing fight of the year. I think has everything.
Okay, so
obviously, card of the year is February 22nd, hosted by yours truly, Riyadh season. That's the best card. But I'm so intrigued by Morel Benavidez. Man, can't wait for that one.
Oh my God.
Wait for it.
And you know what? They've done a tremendous job of hyping the fight from the jump, right? Remember when you were in studio? Remember when you were right here and we played the green screen ENG shoot face-off, which usually, let's be honest, is quite tame. Like, everyone's there to do their job. They want to film the commercial, this, that, and the other. And here are these two guys, and you see it right here. This isn't for the cameras.
No. This is two guys. It's funny because Benavidez has been chasing Canelo, and some people say Moral's been chasing Benavidez. And all of a sudden, these guys meet not at 168, but at 175. Honestly, this fight has a bit of everything. I was at Morel's last fight against Hot Rod Kaladzic in LA. It wasn't a great performance, but I know this guy steps up when there's a threat in front of him, and the threat in front of him, obviously, is a super one in David Benavidez. Honestly, this fight, for me, it's a pick and fight. I know a lot of people edge into Benavidez, but Morel can fight, and he's as big as Benavidez. I always feel like Benavidez is a bit of a bully when it comes to size, and you saw from that. They're both the same height, both the same size. Let's get it on.
Okay, then later they had more promotional stuff now in front of other people, press conferences and whatnot, and it got even more heated. I believe belts were thrown, things were said. Here's a taste of that. A lot of it in Spanish. We don't really know what they're saying, but it's all...
You don't know Spanish, Ariel?
En poquito, más o menos.
Okay.
Me gusta bailar, me gusta
cantar.
I
knew you knew something. I knew it. I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Oh, it's fantastic heat between the two of them. But
man.
I do have to say, oh, look at it here. This is when it really popped off. Oh, belt was thrown.
Oh, my God.
You know it's serious when a belt is thrown. This is legit
that
stuff.
Can do some damage.
Ade, 2 weeks ago on my other program, the Ariel Helwani show, I had the opportunity to have both of them on. And, I was a little bit hesitant to do this. Benavidez, tremendous talker, English speaking. Morel, not English speaking. It's tough to do one of those face-offs, as you know, with a translator involved. So will it flow? Will it not flow? I want to play this for you and then get your reaction, because this thing went from 0 to 100 real quick with two guys who very clearly do not like each other. Take a look. Benavidez, let me...
hold on, before you get started. It's funny because he has so much stuff to say before the press conference, all this and that I'm a RoboCop, that he's going to knock me out, that I don't have nothing. But now look at him. He's scared. He don't have shit to say. What's up with all that you were saying? How come you're not saying all that now? He's there. You can't even talk. He's all freaking, he's all nervous. He's all nervous.
Bro, he's just saying.
Where's all that?
Bro, you had the RoboCop. Man, you had the RoboCop. You know what I mean? You had the RoboCop. This is my fault. You don't have nothing, bro. This is my fault.
I'm going to beat the shit out.
This is my fault. You don't have nothing. This is my fault. You don't have nothing, man.
I'm going to beat the shit out. Hey, there's 3 weeks left to the fight. 3 weeks left to the fight. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing.
Bro, I don't care, man. I'm ready for fight tomorrow. I don't care.
How does it feel that
I'm ready for fight tomorrow. I don't care, bro. I don't care, bro. I don't care, bro. I'm ready for fight tomorrow.
How do you feel that you're making less money than your manager? How does that feel?
Okay.
This is good stuff, right?
This is incredible. I mean, do you know how hard some face-offs have been for me in the last 2 years where fighters don't talk? And I'm like, my God, what do I do? I have no more questions left. And you just put your feet up there, grabbed a cigar, had your slippers on, because you didn't even do anything. Did you get paid for that? Like, if you got paid for that, you should be given that money
No,
back.
I did not.
Do anything.
Those are the best face-offs
Okay,
when you
good.
could just sit back and let them go back and forth. And by the way, I cut that short. It was like 3-4 minutes straight of them just going back and forth like that. Tremendous, tremendous stuff.
Amazing.
We're going to talk a little bit more about that fight later in the program. Looking forward to that, in addition to some of the other big news that has broken over the past week in the world of boxing. But let us not keep the quote waiting any longer. She is returning to her native of Flint, Michigan this Sunday. Special Sunday program right here on DAZN. I like a little Sunday fight night, if you will, a little bit different, a little bit off the beaten path. She's the one and only Claressa Shields, who is going for undisputed gold at heavyweight. Hello, Claressa. How are you?
Hey, you guys.
It's good to have you on the show. And, Claressa, I come in peace. Far be it for me to try to stir the pot or create a wedge between myself and my co-host, Ade. But I couldn't help but see on social media just last week in the Instagram comments of a clip where Ade is speaking about Claressa Shields versus Savannah Marshall. Has to be in the UK. Who's there at the top?
Okay,
it's Claressa at the top. There it is.
Oh, no.
Why wouldn't the fight be a big fight in America? I'm a bigger star than Savannah Marshall. Tell him, Claressa. Tell him right here and now.
Yeah, like, you know what? Actually, when I just seen your face, I said, "Oh my God, this guy." No, like, to just be like serious. Like, I have millions of followers. I've been building my brand way more than Savannah Marshall. Savannah Marshall has it easy in the UK, but she is not a bigger star than me. And the reason that the fight was so big in the UK is because I won the Olympics there. You know what it is, Claressa? You try to
we just love you here, Claressa.
Big star, and she's not. She's not a big star. She's scared
Claressa,
to
you know
come
what
to
it is?
America.
We loved you here.
I know.
Ariel's starting trouble, Claressa. We loved you here. We loved the energy you brought here. Yeah. We thought the whole fight week. Remember, it was cancelled and it was put on again. And we okay, Claressa stole the show here. So when you came, for us, we don't get to see the American superstars come over that much, right? I mean, you guys stay in America. When they do come over, especially someone as good as you, we want to see it more and more and more. And that fight, O2 Arena, 22,000 sold out just like that. The atmosphere was incredible. I'm just wanting to see it again.
I think that it will sell out here in the U.S. too. I feel like, you guys in the UK are trying to monopolize in women's boxing. You guys are trying to keep all the good fights over there in the UK. And it's like, to me, the best fighters are in America. Like, we have the best fights with you guys, but we have to keep coming over there to get these fights. Savannah Marshall promised me a rematch, and it's supposed to be in America. If I was to lose to her, I was supposed to fight against her again in the UK because I would have challenged her again. Had a loss. And then also too, the deal was, if I beat her, when I beat her, she would give me a rematch here in the US. And now she's not standing on her word, because I know I'm a big star in the UK, but I also want to be a big star here in the US, and I have to have a great dance partner. And if she doesn't want to come dance with me in the US, it's kind of pointless because I already beat her up.
Claressa, in Ade's defense, can I just say, and I think you would agree, when you're over there in the UK, the way they cover boxing and women's boxing, I have to say, way more impressive and way more serious and way more thorough than here in America. Like, you hear at midday on the radio, they're talking about boxing. You can never get any boxing coverage on a major radio station in America. You do have to admit, to a degree, and I agree with you, you should be fighting in America. You went there. But like, overall, it is kind of amazing the difference in the way it is treated and covered over there as opposed to here. No? Do you not agree?
Maybe to other women fights, but I feel like my fights, I get a lot of coverage, a lot of social media, a lot of radio. People are coming to my fights. Like, I'm one of the girls who are here in America who actually are doing, 12,000 plus in the arena. I'm trying to get to where it's 20,000 and 25,000. But it's hard to find a dance partner because most of them are in the UK and they're scared to come to America.
And also, most of them, at least the American ones as well, are lower weight classes, right? I want to get to that in a minute, because I know you had a conversation with my friend Ak, and Jake Paul said a couple of things as well about Amanda Serrano, but I do want to give credit to your opponent on Sunday, Daniel Perkins. Obviously, look, I saw the face-off, and I couldn't believe the size of her, the size difference. I mean, you're giving a lot away this time in size. I don't know what she's going to come in the ring weighing, but she's going to be bigger than you. How do you see her as a challenge?
I see her as being exactly what you see, taller and stronger, but that doesn't mean that she's going to win the boxing match. She's up against the best. as in myself. She's up against somebody who can punch, somebody who has great defense, somebody got great offense, somebody who, you know, I don't adjust round by round. I adjust inside the rounds. You know, so she's up against a lot and a whole lot of experience. So I know she's gonna come and try to, you know, impose her size and her will. But I'm a big girl too, and I can punch pretty hard too, and I'm pretty damn good at what I do. So I look forward to seeing, you know, if she's gonna come and I don't know if I heard anywhere her say she's gonna knock me out, but her keep speaking of her power and how just naturally she's stronger and bigger. It almost feels like she's saying, you know, she's gonna knock me out.
We've seen you fight at 154, fantastic. 160, fantastic. 168, fantastic. What's it like at this higher weight class? Do you feel like you're carrying more power? Do you physically feel a lot heavier when you move, or are you comfortable at 175, 176?
I can fight at any weight class, so I feel good. You know, I feel like I can move at any weight class. I'm just as fast up at heavyweight as I was at 154. You know, only thing is now I'm a lot stronger. I am strong as hell at heavyweight. And I know that from how I punch the pads, from the guys I'm sparring with, their reactions when we get tied up in if we get, you know, tied up in our sparring, how I'm pushing them back, and I got pretty big shoulders and a pretty big back, and you know, I'm actually super strong at heavyweight. So I'm carrying everything the same, and I still got my speed, which we were worried about. But hey, it's still there, and everything's intact.
By the way, just curious, on Saturday, how much do you expect to weigh?
I'm going to weigh in at 174 point something.
Okay. So obviously the biggest of your career, but it doesn't sound like it's going to affect you all that much. Looking forward to see how that translates come Sunday. By the way, did you do a public workout in Atlanta at Morehouse College today? Are you in Atlanta right now?
I'm in Atlanta right now, so I live here. I just got back from the workout up at Morehouse. Over 250 people showed up and came and supported me and watched me do a media workout, asked me questions, a Q&A. I literally just left there.
Wow. So you did the workout in Atlanta, but the fight's in Michigan.
Yes.
That's interesting. That's not common to be traveling on fight week to 2 different states.
No, I live in Atlanta.
Okay. But I mean, usually... Okay, go ahead.
I'll be going to Michigan Wednesday, and then I have another media workout, press conference, a weigh-in, and then a fight.
Speaking of just kind of spreading yourself all over the place, right? You do so much. You just had a movie come out about your life, The Fire Inside, which was critically acclaimed. Everyone's loving it, buzzing. But you had to do a lot of, you know, interviews and red carpets and premieres, and not too far away from when you were fighting, right? This came out on Christmas Day. How did you balance all of that?
I had to kind of pack my coach up in a suitcase and take him everywhere with me. So me and Coach John we've been to LA, we've been to New York, New Jersey, Michigan. We have been everywhere promoting the movie. And then finally, as I think when it turned, once the movie came out, I kind of let them know, like, hey, you guys, I'm not traveling no more. I got to focus on my fight. And this girl is big and she's taller, and I got to spar and I got to work out and stuff. So all this flying and stuff is making me tired. All these interviews are draining me. I'm like, look, I got to put a pause on it. But I did as much as I can do. I think I went to maybe 7, 8 premieres. And I've done a lot of media days where it was hours at a time with them. First thing, Toronto, Canada. Then in LA, I think LA twice. So I'm like, lit. And then in Detroit, and then Flint. So I did a lot of media for that. And I just feel like, look, at the end of the day, boxing is what got me here. Training and being ready to fight is what got me here. So I'm not about to just act like, because I have a biopic coming out that, my life is set. It's like, no, I still got real fights outside of the movie that I have to conquer.
How does it feel when you're like watching it back? Like when you watch this young girl playing you in the cinema, your story, right? Your story that now everyone in the world is getting to find out about, the good, the bad, the hard, the up, the down. How easy or tough is that to watch?
It's very emotional to watch. Like, I don't even wear makeup to the premieres or when I watch the movie because all I do is just cry, cry, cry. And I'm not a big crier, you know, but every time I watch a movie, I think I've seen it. I've seen The Fire Inside 10 times now. And every time I watch it, I just cry. And it's cry because I'm so proud of myself. I'm so happy how I didn't give up. You know, I cry because of me feeling disappointed at times. I cry because I remember going through that as a kid, you know, us not having no food and my mom, you know, me and my mom always butting heads and, you know, even me and Jason butting heads, you know, he's my first coach. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I remember like those were times that was very, very hard on me. Like it was very hard to, you know, to deal with. And then I won an Olympic gold medal in London and everybody loves me in London, right? But
yeah,
none of the companies gave me an endorsement deal or a sponsorship. And that's from the UK to America. So I didn't get any endorsement deals or sponsorships till leading up to the next Olympics, which was 2016, where I would be 21 when I won the Olympics again. You know, so winning a gold medal and accomplishing your dreams, you think is going to change your whole life, and it doesn't. So me remembering that and looking at that and feeling like, dang, I worked so hard and it kind of don't mean nothing. That's how I felt. But I think everything played out how it's supposed to play out. I was the first woman to make $1 million in boxing, and I continue to make $1 million, and now trying to make more than $1 million, and you know, just building my brand. So it's better now. But when I watch it, I just be like, man, I don't know how a 17-year-old girl went through all that and she just kept going, because I look at it and I'm just like, I don't know how I did it. I mean, I always say God, because God helped me do it, but I look at it and I'm like, man, I'm watching a movie and I'm like, yo, I know for a fact that I wanted to give up.
Yeah, and we're happy you didn't, because you've inspired so many people, right? Congratulations as well. I saw on your Instagram, US Black Chambers Power 50, which is incredible. Yes. I was going down the list. I went on their website and I'm seeing congresswomen there. I'm seeing presidents of companies, CEOs, and I'm seeing Clarissa Shields. And again, that goes to what you've achieved in your life so far.
Thank you.
All right, I want to talk Amanda Serrano. Let's get there, please. I saw your interview with my guy Ak, and there was a lot of talk of you potentially thinking you can come down to 147. Obviously, the lowest we've seen you as a pro is 154 pounds. Ak and Barack did an interview with Jake and Nikisa today on All the Smoke. And Jake was like, yeah, if she can make 147, he would love to do Amanda Serrano versus Clarissa Shields at 147. Do you think you can do the 147 cut? It's a big cut.
Stop it.
Cap.
For
I was waiting.
For one, let's just stop there. Amanda Serrano would not fight me at any weight class, even if I was to make 140 or 147. Amanda Serrano already said it when her coach Jordan said something about, oh, he's willing to make the fight with me. And then Amanda Serrano made her tweet and said she doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and she's not fighting higher than 140. So let's just stop that there. Also, Jake Paul got a girl who I can't fight who's close to my weight class, so I don't have to be a weight bully. Give me Shadesha Green. You guys said in an interview she can knock me and Franchine out the same day. So Franchine already beat her up. Now I want to beat her up.
After Danielle?
After Danielle, because we can't overlook Danielle Perkins.
Okay.
But after that, yeah, I'll beat up Shadesha Green if they want to make me challenge anybody. But you guys, I don't know what it is that these people keep forgetting, is that all these other girls, look up their age and then look at my age. I can make 147. Where is the money? Where is the money at? You guys want me to go to 147 and lose this great body I have, this big old butt I got, this slim waist, and you want me to go down? I already have a strong back and strong arms. Now you want me to lose my feminine parts and make it all skinny and muscular to fight these girls, and then drain myself of my weight just to showcase that my skills can beat any girl at any weight class. So you want me to go to 147? How much are you guys willing to pay for that? You guys think you're only gonna pay me $1 million and I gotta lose my butt? Hell no. I'd rather keep my butt. Where is the money? First of all, where is the respect and where is the recognition, for one? So I don't know what Jake and what do you say, Nikisa?
Nikisa.
Yeah, I don't even know what they even talking about. Tell them I wish Amanda Serrano the best in her trilogy with Katie Taylor. Hopefully she switches her game plan up so the damn judges can actually give her a fight. She's lost twice now. It's time to switch the game plan up and actually get the W. You're getting the big views. You're getting the money. You're getting the notoriety. Win the fucking fight.
Damn, there's a lot of fights that I'd love to see you partake in. Even Don Davis of the PFL earlier today saying perhaps we'll do Savannah and Clarissa in the PFL in MMA. The one that I would love to see come together, Clarissa, in the best of ways, friends, unity, peace, and love. You and Layla Ali. Can we figure this out? Can we? I think you two, you two are superstars. You're icons.
Yes, yes, we are. If you ask me, we are two of the biggest known women in boxing. If you ask me, I'll just keep it short and frank with Layla Ali. It's not me that doesn't want to fight. It's her.
Oh, I'm not saying to fight. I'm saying for you guys to be pals again because I see there's a lot of animosity.
Pals?
No.
I don't know what animosity that you're talking about. I feel like I can beat her in a fight, and she feel like she can beat me in a fight. That's the only animosity that I see. She said some things that I took away, and I said things that she took away, and that's it. But I've seen Layla in person, and when she see me, and that's all it gotta be. I don't know why everybody want females to just be all friendly and
all right.
I don't have to be that with her. I'm that with other female fighters who I actually like and love, and they have respect for me, and I got respect for them. But nah, I ain't got no animosity toward her. If she wanna fight, cool. If she don't, cool.
She did tell Andre Ward very recently that she invited you to spar, and she said that you declined. Is that accurate?
I mean, everybody believe whatever they want to believe. You telling me she asked me to spar when I was 17, and then I said, "Oh, you want to spar me?" I said, "Why you want to spar me for?" And she like, "Oh, I'm just saying, if you ever need any work, I'm always in shape to go 4 rounds." And I said, "I would love to spar you." And she said, "Girl, I'm just playing, girl." But I had my boxing stuff in the car. And you know what? Honestly, the sparring match is still on the table. If she don't want to fight, if she just want to come and meet me at a gym and we spar right now, the offer is still on the table. Nobody ever denies sparring. I spar against grown men. Why would I be scared to spar against Layla Ali, especially if at 17? At 17, I was off my rockers. I was crazier than what I am now. So I don't know why she making it seem like I was scared to spar her. I would be really shocked that she even mentioned sparring to me because she had been retired and she had spoke about how she doesn't really get in the ring and move around no more. So now it's like, now you saying you want to spar against me? Seemed like she kind of felt like she wanted to challenge herself against me to prove her superiority over me, and it wasn't going to happen. She wanted to do that, but I was open to it. I don't know why it didn't happen. I had my stuff in the car.
This is a tremendous table setter for seeing you back in action on Sunday here on DAZN. Clarissa, you're the undisputed champ, trying to become undisputed champ again. I would say you're the undisputed champ when it comes to interviews. You always keep it real.
Yeah, the best.
And you always bring the goods. So we appreciate you very much. And I know it's been a very busy day for you over in Atlanta. Safe travels back home to Flint and do your thing on Sunday. We're looking forward to seeing you back in action.
Thanks, Clarissa.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
There she is, the great Clarissa Shields. Are. I can't believe you said that about her. No, what?
I can't believe you did that. First question. Clarissa can just jump like that.
That was... you think that's me?
Like,
you think I'm the one pressing the buttons? That's the boys in the back.
No. You planned that. Don't worry, I've got some stuff for you as well. You planned that.
First interview we ever had on this program, you threw me right under the bus.
Yeah, but that's Clarissa Shields.
We keep receipts around here.
Now I know. Hey, what made me laugh is that you're trying to create harmony between her and Layla
I know,
Ali.
And
I feel like you've made more war.
I think she didn't understand the question. I think she thought that I was trying to set up the fight or make it work. I'm actually saying two icons.
Just be friends.
Well, she's 47 and Clarissa's 29. I'm not trying to set up a fight. We don't want to see 20-year-olds fight late 40-year-olds. That's crazy talk, right?
It's crazy. I thought the Amanda Serrano 147 thing was interesting.
I don't. You think that's happening?
No, do I? No. I mean, Amanda's far too small to make 140. I think like she's undersized there, let alone 147.
Yes.
There'll be rehydration clauses and stipulations put, and we don't want any of that. I just feel sorry for Clarissa because the reason I keep mentioning Savannah, and I know it annoys some people, is that's the fight, right? I mean, there aren't that many big fights that she can have, and that's the one, whether it be at 160 or 168. I don't know if I want to see Shadesha Green. I don't know. So yeah, no, good luck to her on Sunday. I'm sure she's going to get the job done as she always does. And then it's a case of trying to find that big super fight because she deserves it, because she is the GOAT. And you're lucky. I was going to say Katie Taylor. Used the GOAT. You're so lucky. You're so lucky.
It's just she's the GOAT. I said at interviews and multiple time champion, and certainly the GOAT when it comes to heavyweight women's boxing. So I keep it 100 around here. Okay, I keep it real around these parts. Let's keep the train rolling along here, and let's stick with the women's boxing theme, and let's go from a current undisputed queen to a future undisputed queen. Dare I say, a self-proclaimed future undisputed champion. The pride of Australia joining us right now. The great Skye Nicolson. There she is. Hello, Skye.
Hello.
And thank you for joining us from a controlled environment. Ade, the last time we had Skye on my program, she was like in a hallway in between elevator banks, a mess of a situation. She claimed she couldn't get into her room. She lost her key. So I appreciate you going the extra mile for us here tonight.
Can we just start?
Hear me.
Sorry, Skye. Yeah, I'm interrupting you because I want to start this by apologizing.
What?
I want to apologize on behalf of the Ring magazine. I was at the award show and I thought it was an embarrassment that Skye Nicolson wasn't in the running for Female Fighter of the Year. And I actually felt bad for Skye being on the stage giving out the award to
the glaze
Gabriella Fundora. Yeah, I just thought, this doesn't make any sense. This is Skye Nicolson. Look, you know when we did our award show, Ariel, remember I was like, oh, Skye or Gabriella, it's a tough one, but in the end I gave it to Miss Fundora. But I did say Skye had a great year. She became world champion, defended it twice. How she didn't make the top 4 or 5 to even be nominated, I mean, I need to know who were the judges because a disgrace. So Skye, I apologize on behalf of the Ring magazine because I think that's a joke.
Well, thank you. I did feel that Gabriella was very deserving of the award, but I did feel like I might have deserved to be in the top 5, but I was still happy to give the award to Gabriella because she had an amazing year and to go undisputed. She's 21 years old, did it in knockout fashion. So, it was definitely Gabriella's moment.
Okay, so we have a lot of questions to ask you, and we want to dig deep into those questions, but there was an announcement last week regarding your return to action, March 22nd, in your home country of Australia. Finally, the homecoming that you've been searching and longing for, but there was the dreaded sort of like TBA next to your name, right? It was Skye Nicolson versus TBA. We have been told, correct me if I'm wrong, that you are now ready and willing to break the news as to who you will be fighting on the 22nd of March. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's not TBA, it's TB.
Ah, well played.
She's good. She's
well
good.
Played,
she's
well
good.
Played.
No, it is official. I am fighting Tiara Brown. I think there's an official announcement of the whole undercard in the next day or two. But yes, the cat is out of the bag. I am fighting Tiara Brown. The homecoming as world champion. I'm so excited. These are the type of fights I get excited for. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay. There it is. Breaking news. Thank you, Frank. That's big. That's breaking news music when we have breaking news.
Wait, was that not supposed to come before she announced it?
You know what? we're working through the kinks around here. We're not quite
apologies.
In sync. Skye, I have to say, Ade and I were talking about this before the show, and for the most part, your opponents, I feel like they're respectful. There's maybe a little bit. Raven brought something to the table. This Tiara Brown, tremendous fighter, but tremendous talker as well. I was watching an interview with her earlier today, and she was going off on you saying Skye thinks she could dictate this, that it's all on her terms, and it's she's sending me the contract on my fight week, and I'm not going to do what she wants. She's really going to bring the heat towards you. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, of course. I feel like Tiara kind of had convinced herself of this narrative in her head that I'm spoon-fed, that I'm spoiled, that I've not worked hard, or everything's just been kind of given to me on a silver platter. So I don't know. I feel like that's what she's convinced herself. I don't know if she just thinks I just sit around all day and I don't train hard. I think my fights kind of speak for themselves for the position I'm in now. But yeah, she's going to find out on March 22nd why I'm world champion and she's not.
I love it because she talks. She talks. I said to Ariel before we started the show, I can't imagine a face-off between these two because I can almost see someone going over a table and throwing hands. If look, you is self-proclaimed future undisputed. Did you want a world title shot? Did you want a unification shot? Or was this the one you wanted because she's been talking smack for a couple of fights now?
Yeah, I have wanted this fight. Obviously, the plan was to go undisputed this year, and it still is. So this is kind of a box to tick. But it's definitely belt collecting season after this one. But for me personally, I want this fight. I think Tiara thinks I don't want to fight her. I think that's where a lot of her confidence comes from, mainly because I haven't kind of bitten back at a lot of things that she's had to say. But yeah, so for me, I personally really wanted this fight, and I was happy to wait on the unification fights and collecting other belts to have this fight first.
Was there any sort of doubt that this fight would happen? I saw your post about Tiara can't find her pen, which kind of made me laugh, actually. Kind of went a bit viral as well. Was there any sort of doubt, like, okay, this might not happen? Was there any hesitation at all from Tiara?
I don't believe so. Definitely not from Tiara. Her team, I was told her team went quiet. They had the contract for a number of weeks, but obviously she did have that fight. I didn't know she had that fight. But yeah, all I was told was that they were waiting on having the signed contract back. So that's why I tweeted what I did. But yeah, I'm happy she found her pens. And yeah, it's on. I can't wait.
What do you think she means when she's saying you're spoon-fed and everything's been handed to you and you haven't had to work hard? Like, what is she getting at when she says this about you, in your opinion?
I think some people just like choose how they want to see the world, and I think she sees it in a negative way. I was signed to a promotional company from my debut. I've had opportunities. I've fought on big cards, but I've also been boxing for 20 years. I've also dedicated my whole life to this sport. I've put myself out there. I go and do every media thing I can possibly do. I'm constantly trying to grow as an athlete, as a person, and I feel like I have earned absolutely everything that I have done, everything I've achieved, all the opportunities that I've had, and I feel like in her mind, she feels that I haven't. I think she thinks I'm spoiled, or I don't know, because maybe things have taken longer for her. But yeah, like I said, she's going to find out on March 22nd exactly why I am world champion. And she's going to have a lot of words to eat because she's definitely had a lot of words to say.
To a degree, do you think this has anything to do with what Ade was talking about at the beginning, where it seems like for some reason people are still a little bit reluctant to give you the respect that you deserve for, I don't know, a litany of reasons. And they think that maybe that, again, Matchroom has guided you and you've been given this off the jump and all that stuff. And so they don't want to acknowledge that you were one of the best female fighters of 2024. And she doesn't want to acknowledge that you've pretty much skunked every opponent that you faced, shut out in every single fight. Do you think it has those two things are connected, where people, for whatever reason, and maybe you know the reason, and I'd love to hear it if you think you know the reason, still don't want to quite talk about you among the elite in women's boxing?
I think because the constant thing that comes out is that I haven't been tested. And it's almost like people make that out like it's a fault of mine, that I haven't been tested or that I've been protected. But my style and the way I fight stops people from doing what they do. And I feel like more critics and doubters have become believers now, especially after the Raven Chapman fight. A lot of people went into that fight saying like, this is a 50-50 fight. This is a real test for Sky. And I know that the same is going to happen again in this fight. She's 18-0. She's a dangerous fighter. She's got a high KO ratio. She was an amateur world champion. She's a good fighter. So does that mean maybe I'm going to get the recognition after this fight when I do the exact same thing to her that I've done to everyone else?
How does it feel? Sorry, go on, Sky. Go on.
It's just like frustrating a little bit because I just feel like I'm going to make Tiara look silly, and then I'm going to get the same responses again, that she was cherry picked, that she wasn't the best Tiara Brown on the night, or she hasn't had the big lights and the occasion. And just like, there's always excuses instead of just saying, actually, Sky made her look bad on the night because Sky's a better boxer.
Yeah. Again, it goes to what I said at the top of the show. I think you should have been in that 5 nominations for Fighter of the Year. So hopefully once you start getting these type of results, people can start sort of seeing what I see, because I can clearly see the talents there. How does it feel, though, going from the hunter to the hunted? I remember in your first year, you was obviously calling out Amanda Serrano. Unfortunately, that fight looks like it's now far and far away. But now people are calling you out. On Saturday in Nottingham, Ellie Scottney ringside called you out, which came from nowhere, but she called you out. Obviously, Tiara Brown's called you out. People are starting to say, I want that Sky Nicolson fight. Does that feel strange, knowing that you're now being hunted?
No, I love it. I feel like it means I'm doing something right. I feel like it means I'm the name that people are chasing to be recognized. It means they want to use my name in interviews and clickbait. And that will boost my profile and boost my worth as well. So keep calling me out. And like I said online when I was called out again on the weekend, line them up. I will fight anyone. I love the Ellie Scottney fight. I've been living and training in London for the last 3 years. I haven't fought in London yet. That's a big London fight. So obviously not looking past Tiara Brown, and we obviously want to go undisputed this year, but Ellie Scottney's a great fight. I love that fight.
How upsetting is it to hear what I just said there about the Amanda Serrano fight probably never happening, right? One of the biggest names in boxing, your weight class, a super fight, right? I mean, that fight does big numbers anywhere and everywhere, depending upon where it's on. How upsetting to know that probably won't happen?
It's frustrating because I feel like I have been very vocal about wanting that fight for a long time. And I can't just keep focusing on Amanda Serrano, but obviously my focus is on the belts, and it's on becoming undisputed champion at featherweight and proving that I'm the best featherweight. And I'd much rather be fighting the champion than for a vacant belt. But she hasn't defended the belts for well over a year now. So I think the likely outcome is going to be that I'll probably have to fight for vacant belts to become undisputed, which was not the way I wanted it to be. But at the end of the day, I can only control what I can control. And for whatever reason, Serrano doesn't want to give me that opportunity. Whether she believes she beats me or not, she doesn't want to give me the opportunity to even fight for it. So probably a business decision from her side. And I know that she is coming to the end of her career, and I understand. But I have also been calling for the fight for well over a year. I'm going to say closer to 2 years. So I feel like the fight definitely could have happened, and she has fought lower level opponents than me in that time. So that for me has been quite frustrating. But at the end of the day, I can only control what I can control, and just focus on getting the belts and winning.
By the way, Sky, do you agree with that sentiment? Like, have you completely erased the possibility of the fight happening from your mind? Because I understand, like, I'd love to see that fight, but I also understand if she gets another fight against Katie Taylor, and if it's on a platform once again on Netflix, like it's hard to deny anyone, turning that down. Like you have to take that opportunity. And the second fight was tremendous, and the first was. But once that's done, and you keep rising and you remain undefeated, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm a hopeless optimist. I could see it happening. I could see it happening end of 25 or early 26.
Honestly, I haven't lost all hope in that fight ever happening, but I can't let it be my sole focus. It's definitely not happening in the near future. So for me, I just have to focus on obviously Tiara Brown on March 22nd, and then look at collecting the belts and going undisputed. So that's my focus now, not Amanda Serrano. I know she's holding the belt, but I don't think she's going to defend the belt. So the fight with Serrano is just not there right now. But obviously I would jump at any opportunity to fight Serrano, especially for the featherweight belts.
right before we had you on, we had Clarissa on, and Ade was trying to get me in trouble, saying that, like, I think Katie's number one and she's the GOAT and all this stuff. From an expert, could we ask who is your number one? Who's your top three?
Look at him.
As far as well, this is not trouble. Who's your top three? I'm just curious. I mean, who better than you?
Why didn't you ask Clarissa who her top three was?
Well, I know who her top three is. It's her and her and her. But I want to know who Sky thinks.
The top two are Katie and Clarissa, 100%, in no order.
Well, we need the 1 and 2. We need the breakdown. What do you mean?
No.
What do you mean?
Honestly, to be honest, if you go based off accolades alone, you have to say Clarissa Shields. But I do think what Katie has done for boxing, the way she fought for women's boxing to be in the Olympic Games, and the kind of role model she's been for so many young girls around the world, you can argue why she could be number one as well. But if you go based off just accolades alone, you can't really compare Clarissa's to Katie's just off results. But then you also have to look at the level of competition, obviously at lightweight and super lightweight, and who Katie's fought, and the level of competition. That's no fault to Clarissa. It's not Clarissa's fault. But I do feel like obviously the level of competition is harder down at that weight. So
yeah, you can tell Sky's a broadcaster now.
Yeah.
You can tell Sky works on the broadcast now. She's fantastic. That fence sitting was incredible. You know what, Sky? I think, and this is not looking past Tiara Brown. Again, I know your team's going to have you fully focused on that one.
Yes.
The super fight I'm desperate for you to have, and I don't know if you're going to have it because I know you guys are quite friendly. Alicia Baumgardner at super featherweight. I mean, I've been that for the last 12 months. Alicia Baumgardner versus Sky Nicolson. Are you guys close to the point where it wouldn't happen? I know there are some relationships where people are like, you know what, not enough money in the world, we're good friends. Or, if the price is right, would you guys dust it up?
We are good friends and we get along really, really well. I have a lot of love for Alicia. We haven't really talked about it. We've kind of laughed about it because obviously there's been a few posts and stuff about it recently. But
that was my burner account. That was my burner account.
At the end of the day, it is a sport. And if that's going to be the big super fight and the big money fight for both of us, then I think we would have that respect for each other, put it all on the line and fight each other without there being beef or disrespect, and both make a shit ton of money together and make history, maybe have an unbelievable fight and then do it again. And it could be like the next generation of the Taylor Serrano trilogies. So, I mean, never say never. It's definitely not what my sights are set on right now. I want to go undisputed at featherweight, and I'm very happy at featherweight, but I'll just say never say never.
I like it.
Well, for now, it's March 22nd. It's Down Under. It's in Sydney. By the way, tremendous job by you and the young Charlie Parsons hosting the festivities for the Jaya Pataya fight. You guys did a great job. That was a lot of fun. And it's amazing to see just the explosion of Australian boxing. Of course, in MMA, we've seen, an amazing rise over the past few years, but now we're seeing so many big names coming from Down Under, including yourself, led by yourself, and George Kambosos on the card as well. We await the news as far as who he'll be fighting. Sugar Neeks on the card too, Sugar Neeks Johnson, Chernika Johnson. So looking forward to that. Taramana, what a name and what a fighter as well. Looking forward to him. So this is great. This is great stuff, and we appreciate you coming on and breaking the news, Sky, right here on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sky.
Thanks, guys.
All right, good night over there in London. There she is, the great Sky Nicolson. And it's a solid card, and it's great to see some big cards going Down Under in Australia, led by one of their own, multiple of their own, Ade. Let's get into some other boxing news and notes, because it has been a jam-packed show with multiple guests, and there's still so much to discuss. Speaking of cards being announced, I want to get your thoughts on the Ben Eubank card, which was officially announced late last week. Of course, we had Conor Benn on the show last week, and he was amazing, right? I mean, just absolutely tremendous. The fire,
energy.
Passion was great. What do you think about what's been announced for April 26th at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? A lot of talk about what maybe didn't get put on the card, but as far as what we found out last week, do you like the construction of this card?
I like it. I like it a lot. I think we're all obsessed now, especially because of the February 22nd card, thinking every single fight card has to be Super Bowl. It doesn't quite work like that. I think it's a very solid card. I think there's some intriguing fights on there, not least Chef Clark versus Vidal Riley, which I didn't expect to happen. Vidal Riley was supposed to fight a guy called Isaac Chamberlain. Chef Clark's coming off that loss to Leandro Mosquera in Monaco. But these two have been kind of going at each other behind the scenes for the last couple of years. So they get it on. Chris Billam-Smith on the card, which is very, very good as well, former world champion. Let's see what he can do. Lyndon Arthur versus Anthony Yarde 3. It's one apiece between those two. A bit of a surprise, that one, because the Anthony Yarde fight against Lyndon Arthur the last time round was conclusive. Anthony Yarde stopped him. It almost was one-way traffic. No one asked for a trilogy. But I know Yarde is just wanting to desperately get on one of these Ring Magazine Riyadh season cards. So this is the opponent that he gets. So look, I like it. I'm a fan of it. I think look, you can always add a bit more, of course. But there's a lot of fight cards coming up, right? Let's not spread it too thin. Let's kind of put other people on other cards. So I'm happy with it.
And important to note that this is a Ring Magazine card. It's not a Riyadh season card. So obviously Turki Al-Sheikh is involved, but it's his sister promotion, if you will, that is going to be putting on this one. They're very first. We've heard some talk. We spoke about this last week about the potential card here in New York at Times Square with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney fighting different opponents. That would also be a potential Ring Magazine card as well. So there's so much happening. Even in April, we found out that just a couple of weeks prior to that April 26th date, Boots Ennis is going to return to action, not in Philadelphia, but in nearby Atlantic City at the famed Boardwalk Hall, which has hosted so many massive events over the years. Great to see it. I grew up
watching stuff there.
Yes, great to see it back in the mix. This is great, and I hope Atlantic City gets back in the mix. I hope East Coast boxing gets a little more in the mix. Madison Square Garden hasn't hosted a fight since Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano won a major fight. I'm not talking about the theater. I'm talking about the big actual Mecca itself, Madison Square Garden. Anyways, Boots Ennis sticking at 147 against Eimantas Stanionis, representing Lithuania, who I'm a big fan of as well. Do you think that Stanionis can knock off Boots, or is this going to be another dominant performance from him? And yes, I know his last two fights have been somewhat maligned, and there were times where it looked like he was being tested, and there was some talk of him moving up to 154 and maybe trying to go for one of those big fights, Virgil Ortiz, etc. Do you find intrigue in this potential matchup?
Yeah, I love it. It's number one versus number two. I mean, I know people might say, well, one second, what's going on with Barrios and Brian Norman? But I think Stanionis is the number two in the welterweight division. Can he knock off Boots? Yeah, of course he can. Do I think he will? No, but he can. I mean, as you said, Boots hasn't looked good in his last couple of fights, especially not the Boots that we know is there, you know, potential pound for pounder. I do wonder about the pressures of fighting at home. A lot of people love it. But then you'd always, you know, you get the phone calls, you're around people. Sometimes you just want to be away from that. And I do think we might see a better Boots away from home in Atlantic City. So I think it's a great fight. Boots had to have this fight. Obviously, look, the Virgil Ortiz fight didn't happen. And I think the blame is solely with Boots. We're hearing about Teofimo Lopez. That didn't happen. Okay, what are you going to give us then? You're not giving us Virgil Ortiz. You're not giving us Teofimo Lopez. It better be something big. A unification fight is always big. Is it as big as those two? Maybe not quite, but it's still a very, very big fight. And I think if he wins this, then it's all systems go for undisputed or 154 pounds. But I love it. I think it's going to be a cracking fight.
Yeah. And again, love that it's happening in Atlantic City. Okay, so let's keep checking off the news and notes. Shout out to Naoya Inoue. Let's go back to last week and on Friday, early Friday morning, doing the job against Yi Jun Kim. We all expected that, right? Late replacement. He was a gigantic favorite, a fourth round knockout. And I wish we were able to show the footage here because it was just amazing seeing, you know, Kim kind of go like, bring it on. And then Inoue's like, oh, really? Okay, cool. And then he knocks him out. The guy's a freaking beast. I don't care who he fights. He's must-see TV. No matter what time of the day, he is just so much fun. The pageantry, the hoopla, the walkouts, the stoppages, the fights themselves, everything about Inoue is amazing. And a special shout-out, by the way, to the great Bob Arum, who still seems to defy logic. The fact that he's traveling to all these events all over the world at 93 years young. He's right there, center of the ring with Inoue. It's amazing to watch. And he said afterwards, we're taking him back to the States now. Now it's time to bring him over. Do you agree with this? Is it smart? This guy is selling out massive arenas, massive stadiums in Japan. Does he need to come to the States, in your opinion, to level up? Or is he one of those rare cases who should just stay at home because he's such a big draw there?
No, boxing's a worldwide sport. I mean, if you can fill out stadiums or arenas like Inoue does consistently all the time, why do you need to go to America? Now, look, I understand the want to go to America. If there was a big American fighter to fight, then it kind of makes sense, right? Let's get him in, I don't know, Vegas, or as you mentioned, Madison Square Garden against an American. But there is no big American to fight. I mean, the big names really are in Asia. Nakatani is one of them. There's been a lot of talk about a guy called Nick Ball. We'll say a guy, you know who Nick Ball is, featherweight champion. There's been some talk of that. That's not going to happen in America. So this want to get him to America all of a sudden to appease the American fight fans, I don't quite get. This guy does incredible numbers in Asia. Let him stay in Asia. If Americans want to go over and fight him in Asia, like Fulton did, then go and fight him. Like Daenerys did, then go and fight him. Why does he have to travel to America? I don't understand the need for it. He's getting my respect. He's a pound-for-pound top 3, right? In whichever order. Some people have him as number 1. I don't personally, but he's a pound-for-pound top 3. For me, stay in Japan where you do incredible numbers unless there is a top American fighter to fight in America, and there simply isn't right now. There simply isn't.
I will say this, though. I want to see how these plans get rolled out. I mentioned last week on the show, and Bob had mentioned a few months back the idea of him fighting at Dodger Stadium. If it is at Dodger Stadium, and you know we know about the massive Japanese population there, the massive Asian population there, and the connection with the likes of Shohei Ohtani, who's a huge star over there, and he's able to fight there, I think is a huge deal. If he's able to fight, I know he's not a big draw, but Alan Romero, if he's fighting there from Mexico, with the connection with all the Mexican fight fans in California, WBC #1 contender. I mean, I think they could sell 30, 40, 50,000 tickets to that. Like the monster comes to America, he's fighting a Mexican fighter. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. He'll look like a massive deal. He'll come across like a massive global star. I want to see what they have planned for him coming up later this year, because if it's something like that,
it needs to be a big plan.
Yeah.
It needs to be a big plan. Obviously, I saw Turkey kind of post a few things that he's now wearing Riyadh season shorts and top. Yeah. So obviously there's some plan surrounding what Inoue does. It looks like he wants to go up again. There's some talk about him being tight at the weight. So look, there are challenges all over the place for Inoue. Eddie Hearn's putting Akhmadaliyev's hat in the ring, and by doing so, he's kicking Inoue, saying you should be chucked out of the pound for pound.
I don't know about this talk. This talk is a little much from Eddie, is it not? I mean, I get it.
It's gone too far.
I get that he loves this guy, but he says it with such, with such intensity and vitriol. It's like, man, you're talking about a guy who is legit one of the best fighters on the planet, right? I mean, top 3 pound for pound. He takes on all comers. I get it, but it's like it's borderlining like disrespect at this point, right? But maybe 100%. That's the point. Maybe that's the point.
No, 100%. And that is the point, because what Eddie does is get everyone talking about it. And all of a sudden, I saw Akhmadaliyev's name trending after Inoue won.
Yeah.
And so Eddie's kind of done what he needed to do.
He did, yeah.
Akhmadaliyev lost a fight against Tapales. Tapales fought Inoue. So it's not like Akhmadaliyev's not had the opportunity. If he beat Tapales, chances are he fights Inoue. So he kind of is now back to the bottom of the queue. I think it's a great fight. I'd love to see it happen. But Inoue has options all over the world in a few different weight classes. So he will, at this stage of his career, choose what he wants to do. And I don't think it will be Akhmadaliyev next, although I wouldn't mind it.
As we mentioned earlier, a great day of boxing on DAZN on Saturday with the Nottingham card headlined by Dalton Smith's great win. Later on in the evening in Las Vegas, we had Diego Pacheco with a great win against Steven Nelson Jr. What's his ceiling right now? Where do you want to see Diego Pacheco go from here? Because it seems like now he's about to take that big step.
Yeah, I mean, look, the king at 168 pounds is Canelo, right? Everyone seems to be waiting to see what Canelo does. I mean, you spoke about this last week. Does Canelo have a fight in May, or does he wait for the potential Crawford fight in September? If I'm Pacheco, the easy fight to make, and it's an in-house fight, surely has to be Edgar Berlanga. I mean, we love those Puerto Rican, Mexican fights over the years. They seem to generate a lot of interest. You mentioned MSG. Why can't that one potentially be an MSG where there's a lot of fanfare for both? I think it's a great fight. Berlanga coming off the loss to Canelo. Pacheco's ceiling seems to rise, especially after that really gritty, good victory against Steve Nelson. So, look, I think there's a world champion there. But until Canelo decides what Canelo wants to do, I mean, everyone's just waiting. Everyone's kind of sitting on their hands. So until then, have fun fights with other contenders. Caleb Plant potentially is out there. Mingia, let's see what he's doing after his defeat. He's out there. Your favorite fighter on planet Earth, Christian Mbili, is out there. They're Mbili.
Yeah.
Apologies, Mbili. So there are a lot of good fights out there for him. But I would love to see the Belanga one. I grew up watching Puerto Rican Mexican wars, and I think this one would be a bit of a war as well.
I love watching the Cuban boxers. We had the great Andy Cruz on that card as well. He remains undefeated. And now we're hearing Maxie Hughes saying, I'll fight Andy Cruz. And what I like about Andy Cruz and what I love about David Morrell as well, they're not going the traditional route of like, give me 20 fights before I fight some big names. I'm cool with fighting them in my first 10 fights. And I know that Andy Cruz wants to fight Keyshawn Davis, but here's Maxie Hughes saying, a little bit late arriving, but the new WBA boxing official belt is here. Told Matchroom today, I'm happy to fight Andy Cruz. We're both in the top 5 with the WBA, so it makes sense for a final eliminator. Buying or selling Andy Cruz versus Maxie Hughes?
Oh, man. That's not a good fight for Maxie Hughes. I mean, look, Maxie Hughes looked really good against Gary Cully, but Gary Cully is no Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz is a special, special fighter. Like, Andy Cruz could fight for a world title right now. I know Eddie seemed to kind of put the brakes on that a little bit, right? Just because he's only had 5 professional fights. But he fought Omar Salcido on the weekend. Salcido last year knocked out Chris Colbert. He's not fighting scrubs. He's fighting really high-level fighters and embarrassing them. He's just too good. His movement would just bamboozle Maxie Hughes. And I'm a big Maxie Hughes fan, but I've just got to say it how it is. He's on another level. That being said, Maxie, I mean, last time out against George Kambosos, I thought it's a fight he won, but they're levels in the 135-pound division, and Andy Cruz is a few levels above Maxie Hughes.
And so going back to David Morrell and this mentality of not waiting and not padding the record, I think one of the things that Benavidez has said and that some people have said about this massive fight coming up this weekend, which I cannot wait for, February 1st in Las Vegas, is that it's a little too soon for him. He's a tremendous fighter, but Benavidez has been there, done that, and has some, 15, 16, 17 more pro fights on his resume. Do you think that it's a little too soon for Morrell?
No, I don't. I hate this idea of just waiting and waiting and waiting for that perfect opportunity, that perfect time. Like, okay, we are ready now. No. You don't know you're ready until you get in the ring. Let's see the levels. Like, everyone's been asking for this fight for 18 months. So now on the eve of the fight, I'm not going to say, well, 1 second, I think David Morrell maybe, a few fights away from it. Let's just see what he's got. Benavidez is good. There's no two ways about it. But he would have watched Benavidez's fight against Vosdik and thought, okay, well, there's stuff there. There's stuff to maybe work on there. I think Morrell's a better mover than Benavidez. I think Morrell could potentially hit as hard as Benavidez. I think it's a great fight. And we'll see. Look, even if you lose, you've lost to Benavidez. And then you start to rebuild again. So look, I hate the waiting game in boxing because we wait, and fights don't happen. This fight, I said openly, I think it's the fight of the year, right? And it's because both men said, you know what, let's just duke this out. All this waiting and waiting nonsense, and you lose fights, and no. Morrell's ready. Benavidez is ready. Let's get it on.
You know what I love about this? In addition to all the things that you just mentioned, I love when the top dogs fight around the same time as each other, because that means their schedules are aligned, their timelines are aligned. And just a few weeks later, we've got Beterbiev versus Bivol 2. And I'm wondering, I know it's different promotions and all this, but in this brand new world that we live in, do you think there's a chance that the winner of this fight is going to fight the winner of Beterbiev versus Bivol 2?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Golly.
Yeah, and let's just like, I'm team Bivol. Everyone knows this, but I mean, Beterbiev goes into that fight as a favorite. Benavidez is a favorite. So let's just say the two favorites win. Benavidez versus Beterbiev, I'll remortgage my house to see. I mean,
that's the one. That's the dream fight of all dream fights.
Oh my God. Like, Bivol is a mover, right? Bivol's not really going to stand in the pocket with Beterbiev. He moves. Yeah. He creates angles. He makes Beterbiev miss. Benavidez is going to go straight forward to Beterbiev, and Beterbiev is going to welcome it and say, "Come on." Oh my, what, dude? That would be a car crash.
Yeah.
And I would, please.
I mean,
please. Turkey, if you are watching this, and I know you watch our show,
Sure.
if there's any way you can make this fight happen after all the, the fights play out, please make it. It's a great fight.
Can I also just say, if Bivol wins and if Morrell wins, I'd still love to see it. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be winner versus winner.
Yeah, give me Bivol versus Benavidez. Give me that.
Or I'm just saying, if it's, Beterbiev coming off a loss against Benavidez coming off a loss, I do think Benavidez will win on Saturday. But the point is, a four-man in the mix as well. I would love to see. All four of them are must-see TV, but couldn't agree more with you. Benavidez against Beterbiev is insanity. It is. It actually makes my body hurt just thinking of the punches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those ones where we should petition for 3 extra rounds, like 15 rounds.
No,
like you're bare knuckle,
no, I don't want them to die.
When there's a draw, there's a draw in there. One more round.
Yeah, one more round.
One more round.
Golly, that's by the way. Who are you picking in this fight? You could call. You're not working it, right? So who do you like?
No, I'm not working it. I like Benavidez.
You like Benavidez as well?
I like Benavidez. I think he's just that guy. Some guys just have the aura about them where you feel like, oh my God, this guy who actually can beat him. He's kind of got that about him where Morrell, good fighter, but again, I was ringside for his last fight in LA. And I was like, are you really a 175 guy or are you just chasing Benavidez up to that weight class? Because I think he could have made 168 still. So I'm going to go Benavidez.
Yeah, I think so as well. He's a slight favorite going into the fight. Can't wait for it. And it's not a bad card as well. The likes of Pitbull Cruz on there. So good stuff coming your way. There's a ton coming your way as well. But for our parting shot, Ade, I do want to go back to last week. And you may be thinking, all right, what are you going to go with? You're going to go with, the scenes from Nottingham? There were some tremendous stoppages there.
Has to be, surely.
Or perhaps we're going to Las Vegas. Not a bad one, right? Not a bad matchup card in Las Vegas.
I know where you're going.
No. We're going to the City of Brotherly Love for Knucklemania 5. This falls under the boxing umbrella. I'm sorry. It's way more boxing than it is mixed martial arts. Did you happen to see the knockouts today? And usually we go with one parting shot. I can't do it. I cannot do it. It was terrifying, and I stress the word terrifying. Terrifying knockout after terrifying knockout.
Oh,
here's one for you. Look at that. Ade, look at that.
I saw that guy at the weigh-in, and I was thinking,
yo,
you better not lose. You better not lose. And then he got knocked out like that.
Look at his head bouncing off the ropes. Oh, here's another one for you. Good night. Look at that one. Look at the way he falls.
Well, let's see this again in slow.
Oh my.
That's brutal. Yeah, he ain't getting up. He could have counted for a minute.
Terrifying. Look at that.
Man, look at that. The referee's like, enough, and he's still wanting to punch. Look, the referee gets in there, and he's like, no, I still want a bit more.
Do you love this? Look at Big Ben. Look at Big Ben with the right. Oh, look at this. Kablam!
I don't know why any human being on planet Earth would fight Ben. Like, I remember him in the UFC, and now he's 270 pounds, hairy chested, hairy back. Why would you fight that man? There's not enough money in the world to say, yeah, I'd fight that man in a ring with no gloves.
Do you love it? Are you in?
You know what? Can I be honest with you? I'm getting in.
It's not bad, right? I feel like this is everyone's sentiment. Everyone's like, you know what? At first I was like, how could you deny the action? It's terrifying stuff. Violent stuff, good. But man,
it's very violent. My thing with it all the time was what I didn't like about it was when it was former boxers and former MMA guys going over. So I kind of felt like you're at the end. So boxing and MMA have ruined you. It's done. It's taken everything out of you. All of a sudden, you get in the ring barefisted. But what they've started to do recently, I've noticed, is get a lot of younger people in. So people that have maybe decided, okay, there's more money in this than there is for me in boxing and MMA. So I like the fact that it's building sort of fighters from the ground up now, as opposed to getting sort of guys that are done and shouldn't be fighting anymore and couldn't get sanctioned in boxing or MMA. That was my thing at the beginning.
They are on some kind of roll. And I have to say, switching back from that event to the one in Las Vegas, like the difference as far as the energy in the building is concerned was quite dramatic. It was a big difference. It's like it's an adrenaline rush watching those events. And so
did I see your tweet saying something about like the numbers, like it was the biggest attended
17,000 plus, highest attendance for any combat sports event in an arena in Philadelphia history, $2.3 million gate. These are no small numbers. This is a big deal. And they continue, they're still not sanctioned in several of the major states here in America, but they just got Pennsylvania. They got California recently. They're hoping to do New York and Nevada as well. They are coming, and they're no longer the butt of the joke. Like, BKFC is a real thing, and I've said it time and again. If there is one promotion not named the UFC that I would invest in, that I would buy stock in if I can, given their trajectory, it's BKFC in all combat.
It's too late now. Too late now. I mean, Connor's bought all those stocks. You can't afford the stocks. I saw you speaking to the owner today, who
David Feldman.
Sounds like a really nice guy. Yeah, spoke really well.
What happened to your voice, by the way?
I don't know. I don't know what
you
just
trying
happened.
to fight through it? Do you need some water?
I'm fighting through it. No, I'm good. I'm good now. Am I back?
You're back. You're back. I think you're back.
Yeah. And I saw him basically say, look, I don't want to get sued by the UFC about Conor McGregor fighting in BKFC, but I thought he spoke so well. And I was a bit against him because I remember back in the day where he said he's not paying a guy's purse because he didn't fight well. And I was like, who is this guy? What's this nonsense? But all of a sudden, I think Conor almost taking sort of the front seat, and him being in the background, I think's helped a lot.
Yeah, no, it's a fascinating story to watch. So let's see. Congratulations to them on a big event. And you can see these events, by the way, on DAZN right here on the global home of fighting, not just boxing.
We have everything.
Have everything. Yes. Speaking of which, here's a look at the calendar, the upcoming slate of fights, and they are coming on a weekly basis and fast and furious. We do have the aforementioned Clarissa Shields returning to action this Sunday in Flint, Michigan against Danielle Perkins for the undisputed heavyweight title. I like that poster.
I like that. Nice poster. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
By the way, some breaking news. February 8th, we just found out your boy, Derek Chisora, right here on DAZN against Otto Wallin. Everywhere outside of UK and Ireland, of course. A Queensberry card. How about that?
Yeah, I'm going to go to that. I'm going to go and support Chisora.
At the Co-op Live.
I think that'll be his 49th fight. They're saying the last dance. There's one more before that, so it's like before the last dance.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird.
The last dance suggests it's the last fight. There's one more after.
The penultimate last dance doesn't quite.
It's too much wordy on a poster, isn't it?
Speaking of Co-op Live, we're back there the following week, February 15th. We got a fun one between Jack Catterall and Arnold Barbosa Jr. We did a face-off with these two gentlemen last week. Some nice heat there, and a great promo. Shout out to our guy Alex Haynes. Did you see that promo for Jack? Like the boring promo,
boring Jack Catterall.
I love it.
I like how they're thinking outside the box. What a great fight, by the way. 140-pound division's crazy, right? I mean, crazy. And all of a sudden, you got these two, no world titles on the line, but I think on the cusp, right? The winner of this has to. I mean, surely they fight for a world title, or Teofimo Lopez goes up and vacates, and they get the belt, which I hate. Hate people fighting or getting a belt emailed to them. But that's a great fight. Jack Catterall favorite, but Barbosa's on a tear. He's on a tear. Beat Jose Ramirez in Latino night in Riyadh.
He did get a gift in Brooklyn when we were there for the.
That's ages ago. Who remembers that? Yeah, no one remembers that.
No one remembers that. By the way, what I like about that one, it's old fashioned Matchroom versus Golden Boy over there in Manchester. They're doing back to back once again later on that night. There's another event on DAZN. DAZN is doing these back-to-backs, which I like very much. You know about this? Regis Prograis going up against Oscar Duarte on that same night. There it is on February 15th.
What an interesting fight that is.
Prograis, does he have anything left, though? Does he have anything left in the tank?
I don't know. I don't want him to be one of those guys where people just get him on their CV. And it just says, Regis I hate that. I kind of don't want to see that. But, he did cause Jack a small amount of problems in that fight. And Oscar Duarte is no Jack Catterall. So we'll see. Again, 140-pound division, like I said. It's crazy. Oscar Duarte is kind of sort of just in and around that top 10. Is Regis Prograis still that guy? I don't think so. I know he wants to do a bit of bare knuckle as well. So I do wonder if this is the last dance for Regis Prograis in boxing.
And by the way, some breaking news.
What?
Look at this poster for the February 22nd card in Riyadh. Have you seen this? Oh, the last crescendo. Man. I mean, that's a beaut right there. That might be poster. I mean, look at that.
That could be poster of the year, although the year is very early. Can I be honest with you? This one, I don't know what the name means, the title, The Last Crescendo. I don't. Is it the last time that that either guy fights.
It's a lot of laughs, by the way. In
I don't understand it. Like,
is it maybe the last time they'll fight each other? These two guys. I don't know.
Well, if Bivol wins, it's one of the things they're going to do again.
The last crescendo part 2.
The last opportunity, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good point. It reminds me of when The Rock and John Cena fought for the first time and they said once in a lifetime, and then they main evented WrestleMania the following year, and it was like, well, actually, it wasn't once in a lifetime. It was twice in a lifetime. So you're right. Should we call up Turkey right now and ask him to change it?
No.
No, okay.
No, we don't want to do that. Greatest fight card ever, though. Greatest fight card ever. I can't wait to... So I do the Jack Catterall Barboza and then immediately fly from there to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for this card. This to be involved in this card where Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi walk first.
Yeah,
is to me mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling. We are less than a month away. Let's pray. Let's knock on wood that everything remains intact. Looking forward to that, and we will have plenty of time to discuss that card over the coming weeks. That's it for us, Ade. What a fun show. Flew by, right? 2 massive names.
Incredible.
Current undisputed queen, a future one as well. You kind of mending fences with Croissa, I thought was really nice. Warmed my heart.
I was so scared.
No, it was good. I thought I brought you guys together.
She read out the tweet. I doubt that.
Yeah.
I had to mention, obviously, her being awarded something just to kind of get her on my good side.
No, that was, by the way, such a savvy move that you went through the Instagram. You saw, the entrepreneurs and the businesswoman. That was good.
I needed to have something up my sleeve just in case it got hairy, and it did, thanks to you. Thank you.
No problem. My pleasure.
That's okay.
Tremendous stuff. As always, we will talk to you next week. Ade, thank you to everyone for watching another episode of Ariel and Ade right here on the global home of fighting, DAZN. A lot to come this weekend. Enjoy the fights, my friends. We'll talk to you next week.